Welcome to the Retreat Leaders Podcast, the show for visionary coaches, healers, wellness pros, and small business owners who aren't just here to host another feel-good getaway, but to build a profitable, impactful retreat business. I'm your host, Shannon Jamail, retreat strategist, business mentor, and owner of a 46-acre retreat center. I've hosted over 100 retreats around the world, and I've made every mistake so you don't have to. Each week, we'll dive into the mindset, marketing, money, business, and mechanics behind sold-out, profitable retreats. Plus, hear from expert guests who are walking the talk. Whether you're planning your first retreat or scaling your 100th, you're in the right place. Welcome to the show. Hey guys, welcome back to the Retreat Leaders Podcast. It is another really special day when I have an in-studio guest. And today I'm doing something completely different, or at least this podcast is going to be kind of completely different, because not only is my guest amazing, but we spent an entire day yesterday doing what she does. So I get to speak to that. Welcome, Jaymie, to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Shannon. I'm excited to be here.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited. So before I tell everyone like what we did yesterday and all that stuff, I just want you to start off by telling us like who you are, what you do, and what brought you to this point.
Yeah, so I'm a marketing and Facebook ad strategist. So yesterday we dove into all things ads for your business, which was so much fun. But basically, I help coaches, experts, service-based brands, as well as local businesses use the power of Facebook and Instagram ads to generate more leads, sales, and customers for their business so they can grow on autopilot and not have to worry about showing up or posting every single day in order to get in front of their ideal customers. So yes. I love what I do. It's so much fun. And outside of that, I'm a dog mom to two pits. I live in San Diego, and yeah, so I'm excited to be out here in Texas with you today.
Yay, me too. Yeah, so Jaymie agreed to fly in. So Jaymie has one of her offerings, and she'll tell you all her offerings, but one of her offerings is a VIP day. And just cut in, Jaymie, when I fuck it up, because I probably will. But she has a VIP day, and when I was kind of introduced to Jaymie through a mutual person that we know, I was like, wait a minute, VIP day, and technically you can go see her. And I was like, what do you feel like coming out to Retreat Ranch and staying at the ranch and then spending a day with me and my team so that we could kind of go through this VIP day together. Tell everybody what a VIP day is.
Yeah, so the VIP day concept, I feel like this has really, become really popular over the last few years because all of us are strapped for time.
Yes.
So the idea with it is really to help people achieve an outcome in one single day. So for me, it's helping you build out your entire ad strategy, get your ads created, get them set up, published, and ready to go all in a day. And it's a great way to it's sort of a hybrid offer to where, instead of paying somebody to run your ads for you monthly.
Yep.
I'm sort of teaching you how to manage them, either you or your team, ongoing, without you having to sit through, a multi-week program or take a long course. It's like we just get it all done in a day.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think, too, a lot of people are like, well, to hire a service to manage it every month, which you do offer that on a very limited basis.
Yeah.
One is costly. It can be very costly for most small businesses, I think.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, it can be costly. And I don't know. It's like if you can insource it to a certain degree, you have a little more control, and also like flexibility and creative once you learn it. Because I'm just going to tell you right now. I used to be one of those people that thought, well, between me and AI, I can figure this ad shit out. I'm just going to tell you right now, you cannot. I don't know. Maybe if you've got a super technical mind and you've at all played with Meta and you can kind of sort of, I don't know, y'all, I really struggle with saying that because my team and I have tried to do it on our own. And it was so terrible. Waste of money, waste of time. And when I sat down with you yesterday, Jaymie, there was a couple times where I was like deer in the headlights. But then I was like, oh, I get it. Oh my gosh, now it's clicking. And there is no way in hell, in my opinion, I could have done that with just AI telling me what to do. Or to be honest with you, with just a video telling me what to do. I could have, yes, but knowing me and my personality, I couldn't have gotten what I got from you yesterday. And I'm curious what you think, like when it comes to like the different levels that people can achieve with the different services that are out there.
Yeah, no, well, I really appreciate you saying that. And I think to your point of like, you probably could have used AI and stuff to piece things together. However, the problem even with like watching a video and doing that is like every single business's strategy, their marketing strategy, their ad strategy needs to be unique to them, right? And your offers and your audience. And so, there's really no one thing out there that you can watch that's going to help you do that. And that's the great thing about working with somebody is like, your entire strategy, everything that we did was really customized to you and your brand, right?
Yep.
And I think the great thing about being able to, work with somebody in like, especially in a VIP day capacity is like, you're getting to see the behind the scenes, you're getting to understand how it works. And sometimes when you outsource something, you don't really have that ability to see how things are working. And what I hear most commonly from people when they work with an agency is, they'll run the ads, they don't get results, and then they don't even know why, right?
Yeah.
Where now I think you're going to have a lot better of an understanding if something's not working exactly how it should,
Yeah.
at least a good idea potentially of why, right?
Yeah.
And that's because of everything that we went through in that day. And I think having that is so empowering as a business owner, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to care about your business as much as you do, right? And so if you can take that in-house and do it yourself, like you're going to get better results, honestly, because it's like you really care about what you do. So, you're going to be able to put more into it, to figuring it out and to making it work.
Yeah, I could not agree more. I actually do feel so empowered. It kind of sounds cheesy, y'all, but I've struggled with ads since I've had a business. And I want to preface that by saying, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, it's the only thing I know about ads or knew about ads. I know a lot more now about ads. But you, as a business owner, you should not even be thinking about ads if you don't have a proven anything. Like, you need to make sure that you've got something that's working already. Like, I feel so good about the amount of money I'm going to spend on ad spend a month, which is going to be significant, but I feel really good about it because I know that the stuff already sells and I'm just trying to expand my visibility. And so I'm just a big warning out there. Jaymie agrees with me, and I feel like anybody who's in this field agrees that you should not just throw ad money at the wall. Like, you really need to make sure that something's already working organically, and then you put some ad money behind it. Would you?
Yeah, no, I would
piggyback on that?
definitely 100% agree with that. Like, you don't want to use ads as a testing ground unless you just truly have money to throw at it and you don't really care about what happens. But for most of us, when we're investing into our businesses, we want to see an ROI from it. And so I always say that, like, when you're running ads, it's kind of like pouring more fuel on something. And if you have something that's working really well, it's just going to fire that up. And if you have something that's not so good, it's going to highlight how not so good it is, right? And so, yeah, if you already have something that's working and you're selling organically too, right? Like, ads should just be something to help you amplify that.
Right. And that's exactly what I was looking for. But you really nailed it too when you said we really spend a lot of time on strategy. And just to give you guys some feedback as far as how this whole process has been, I would do it again and again and again. I don't have to, though, because she equipped me so well, but I'm just saying, like, if I had to start over, I would do this again. Like, and I cannot recommend it enough, because from day one that I started working with Jaymie, and by the way, this, not that there's anything wrong with this is not a sponsored thing. Jaymie didn't do it for free. I paid her full price, and I just want that up front, because some people are like, oh, well, yeah, there's this trade factor or whatever. That is not the case. And she was worth every fucking penny. But what I mean is, like, from day one of working with her, she right away was like, let's nail the strategy down first. Let's talk about how this is going to look and feel before we even talk budget numbers, pixels or technology, or you know what I mean? Like, any of that. And you set me up for success from day one. You're like, here are the programs I recommend. And I even, like, to give you an example, originally it was like, well, we're going to have free downloads for this and that. And she's like, really your biggest bang for your buck is a mini course, And so, like, she even steered me in directions that she has seen the most success with, which I love, because you're seeing this every day. I'm not. I'm only seeing my world, right? So you know what's working in the space. So the strategy, you guys, so it's not just hiring some company that's going to throw a bunch of money or put a bunch of ads together. It's somebody who's going to really talk to you about what's working in your industry that they're seeing, and the strategy behind it, how it should look and feel. And that was, like, so invaluable. And then you're right. Then we went into, obviously, when we got together in person. So a lot of that happens before you even get together. Then when we got together in person, we reviewed all that strategy to make sure we're still on the same page and that this makes sense. And then, yes, we went into the technical. She, by the way, created some incredible media to get you started, which was phenomenal and really guided me through a lot of that. And then we went to the technical stuff. But what I love too is like, even though we went very technical and she's like there with you and putting metapixels where they go and making sure all of it works so that when she leaves, like it's already running. I should have kicked it off by saying I've already gotten 20 solid leads and it hasn't even been 24 hours.
Yeah, they just started this morning.
They just kicked in, y'all. And I'm like, I have goosebumps. I'm like, yeah, my email's blowing up. I think I need to turn that off because like I'm getting ping, 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 ping. But like when she leaves, you're set. Like everything's set. The technical set, the ad creative set, the copy is set, like everything's set. And she shows you how to monitor it and how to make adjustments to it and gives you a little bit of support when she leaves so that she's like, okay, now we know this is working. If this is not working, let's figure out why. And it's, by the way, if an ad's not working, it's not because so much the ad is like broken. It's more like, okay, do we need to fix that messaging? Do we need to fix that creative? Do we need to fix the audience? Do we need to fix this?
It's almost never the ad, to be honest with you. Like anytime that somebody tells me that they didn't get results with the ads, I'll usually come in and do like a bit of an audit for them. And it's almost never the ad. Like, to be honest, the ad itself is the easier part to nail. It's like all of the strategy and like the foundational pieces that are the harder part. And it's not even so much that they're hard, but it's just that it really needs to be thought about. And I think sometimes when we think about the idea of running ads for our business, we're like, oh, let's just put out this ad and start getting in front of more people. And therefore I'll be in front of more of my ideal customers. My business will just blow up. But we don't think about the fact that like once somebody does find us and they see our ad and they click on it, then what happens? What experience are we taking them through, right? And are we making sure that experience actually, shows them who we are and how we can help them and why they should trust us and why our offer is the best thing to help them solve the problem that they have. And if you can do that and you can think through those things, ads will always work. And that's what I always say is like ads will always work, but it's just a matter of like, how do you make them work for your business?
Yeah. See, this is why you guys worth every penny, because it's not just about the ad. It really is the strategy that continues past the click, right? Because you can definitely do all the work to get them to the click. I mean, I feel like you could do that for anybody just based on our time together. You can get them to the click. And then it's like, okay, what happens after the click? Or what happens after they get on your list? What's happening from there? That's really in the business owner's hands, but I love the fact that you're walking them through it. Like, look, I can't give you your content, but I can say, you've got to be able to do X, Y, Z in order to turn this click into money, right? And then understanding the sales cycle. Like every different thing has a different sales cycle. And so things take time. And I think there's a lot of people out there that have this conception like, well, I signed up for ads. Like I have 20 solid leads. I promise you when I walk out of the studio, I'm going to have even more. Well, she's done her job, right? Like she's gotten the leads to me and then some. And now it's like, what am I doing with these leads? And you're really helping us to understand like that's the hardest part, really.
Yeah, it really is. And it's the hardest part. But what I will say is like, I mean, think about how much time we spend doing all these other activities to market our business, right? Like, I mean, for me, I'm like having to sit and create reels and post and come up with like a whole month schedule like of content. Like that's a lot of work, right? And we have to continually do that forever, basically, if we're going to be on social media, where if you can sort of take the time to do this once, right? It might take you a few weeks, it might take you a few months to really get it fully dialed in. But if you can take the time to do that, then you have an asset for your business that can help you grow for years, right? I mean, I have a client that I helped scale her business from her first course launch making $10,000 all the way up now to making $3 million. And she is using the exact same lead magnet that we started with 6 years ago that we started running ads to, right? And of course, at first it didn't convert as well, but once we dialed in a lot of those pieces, we, like made sure her emails were as strong as possible. We, improved her offer. We did all those things. Like now she's been able to just use that to, rinse and repeat and grow her business for 6 years to get it to the level that it is. And I'm like, that's something that I feel like is so worth taking the time to do. Like, and it's like, I think too, if you can sort of look at it like, as like an experiment, right? Like I love treating marketing as like an experiment where I'm like, let's just tweak this or try this or change this wording or do this, and let's see what it does. And it can become like a fun game almost, because when you go from seeing something that maybe didn't work that great and then you make a tweak and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, the sales are just rolling in now. Like it's like the best feeling, So I think if we can all treat our marketing like it's an experiment and kind of have fun with it versus feeling like, oh, this is so much work. Like the long-term reward is, it's high.
Well, I can say that before we had our day together yesterday, I didn't think it was fun. But after we did all, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just off the top of my head, we created 2 full campaigns, and within those campaigns, we created 4 ad sets total. And within those ad sets, it was like 20 ads, I think, something altogether, right? And so that may sound confusing to you. Don't worry about it. If you hire Jaymie, you'll know what it means at the end. But the fun part was then she provides all this support documentation that really helps you understand, like, if this click-through rate is this, or if this conversion is this, like, she really breaks down all these things that makes it, I'm telling you, it was fun. And I'm like, oh, wait. And she's like, so if this number's low, we're going to tweak this, and we're going to look at this, and we might turn this one off, but And so that is like, it's like this whole nother creative fun, to me, like, part of our business. And as business owners, yes, you can outsource all this. True. Absolutely. And I think Jaymie has the capability for maybe 1 or 2 people to do that. But the truth is, like, when she breaks it down and shows you what to do, I'm looking forward to, she's like, don't touch it for 2 days. So I'm not even going to look at it, right? I'm just going to keep seeing all the leads come in. But then after 2 days, I am so excited to get in there and just look at each piece that you showed me and be like, oh my gosh, this number's here, or this one's not, and I wonder why. You know what I mean? Like, I'm excited to do that.
Well, and it's exciting to see what's working, because this plays into like all aspects of your marketing too, right? Like, because now we're getting like mass amounts of people to see something, right? So if we can see there's a certain ad that's working really well for you, it's like, cool, let's talk about this more on your social media. Let's talk about this more in your emails. Let's talk about this more on your podcast, because obviously this is something that's really resonating with people. And I love being able to like see that data, because you get it really quickly, right? Where sometimes you might put out something on social media and like it takes time for people to see it. Like, if you were to put out like one of your lead magnets, it might take you 6 months to really have a good amount of people go through it, where in, a matter of a week, you're going to know exactly like what's working for you and what you can lean into more. And like, I think that's a really, fun place to be.
Yeah. And I think so for those of you who are like overwhelmed by the idea or overwhelmed by Meta, and if you're listening, you probably obviously know what Meta is, but it's the platform that controls ads for Instagram and Facebook. And so if it's all overwhelming, so I've been using Meta, but it wasn't called Meta, since it launched, literally. And
You're an OG.
I am an OG, y'all. I have been selling retreats on Facebook before Instagram was even born. And like, it was so easy. I'm just going to be honest. It was so easy. Of course, there was a lot less users on the platform. There was a lot less businesses on the platform too. But it literally was like, okay, I could throw a few $100s out on a post. And it was like, bam, it was great. And over time, I've seen it become obviously so sophisticated that, to be quite honest, your average person, if they don't have an expert walking them through it, I really just feel like it's very, very difficult if you don't have someone walking through it. For Jaymie and people who are in it every day and who know it, it probably is like, really, it's not. But for those of us who are like, I don't even know what a campaign means when there's also an ad set, and then there's ads, and then why are there 3 different levels? Why can't it just be an ad, right? But when you get in it, you're like, because it actually gives you so much flexibility and so much creativity that there's a reason for all these layers in there that seems so confusing at first. And I think I'm almost so much more excited about that, because what I didn't tell Jaymie is that after she left last night, Kim and I put together a whole campaign for Kim, because she does, Kim's somebody on our team who was part of the meeting yesterday, and she also runs a yoga teacher training, and we killed it. We put together,
gosh, I love that.
I will send it to you so you can see it. She's already getting leads, and we put it all together, and we could not have done it without her. It definitely took us longer, and there were a few times where I'm like, fuck, what did she say about this? Where's that video? No, she said this. Like, we got it. And so I was like, we did it. And so my point is like, before that, there's no way, I'm just telling you, there's no way I could have used AI or YouTube, or I just feel like I couldn't. Me and Kim are very smart people, and I don't know that we could have done it like we did with your tutorials, your in-person, and then we created these ads for her. It was so cool.
That's so exciting. I'm so happy to hear that you guys were able to do that. And, you had said, okay, it is a little bit complicated in the back end there. Like, the average person probably wouldn't be able to just go in and do it. But once you're shown how to do it, not just once, but we went through it like 3 times yesterday on different campaigns. But it was like, by then you had a pretty good idea of like how to do it, right? And enough to where you guys were able to go and do it on your own. And that's really what I want for people to do. And I truly believe like Meta has made so many changes to their platform to try to make it easier. I'm not saying it's like perfectly simple now, but they've made a lot of changes to make it easier so that the average business owner can run their own ads. And that's really why I want to empower more people to run their own ads, is because you don't, it's not something you have to outsource, right? You should be able to do that skill on your own. And it's powerful because it's like now it's like any new idea, new offer that you guys want to promote, like you have that skill and that ability to go and do it yourself. You know what I mean? And obviously if you like want some additional help or guidance, like I'll always be there to do that, you know, but I want you to be able to go and just say like, hey, let's set up a campaign tonight and then have it launched like a few hours later. So
literally. And so that's why I was like, earlier I said, I feel so empowered, because after we did that, like we even figured out the pixel and we got it on her website and we tested it and we used the extensions that you showed us. I'm telling you, girl, we were like pros last night. And then we got into that documentary and got lost. But like we totally launched a full campaign with 2 ad sets, including a lookalike and then an audience attribute. I mean, we did the whole thing and I'm so proud. But that is exactly it. Like spending that day with you totally empowered us, so that now when I have some other big thing that I want to launch, like my second France retreat, right? So my first one completely filled up in 48 hours. And now I'm like, well, I'm going to add a second week then. And so now I'm going to run a whole campaign, you know, and I know how to do it. And so I'm just, I don't know. I totally feel so empowered. I would like you to tell the audience though, because there are some people who either your VIP day is out of their price range or whatever. Tell us some of the different offerings that you do have though.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have some digital products. So if it is purely something you want to try to do on your own, I have like my ads toolkit, which gives you, you know, graphic templates that are made in Canva, easy to redesign for your business, proven formats that I know all have already worked, copy formulas, as well as like chat GPT prompts that you can use to help write your copy. And then audience targeting ideas, although we did talk about that a little bit yesterday. It's not, you know, quite as relevant now, but basically helps you to do it on your own. So I have a couple of digital products like that, some that take you through the process of setting up campaigns, anywhere from like doing something for lead generation or doing something to like a low ticket product, like your mini course. And then I have my VIP days. I also do like one-off consulting as well. So, you know, I will just get on a call with someone if maybe you've ran ads or you just want help. Like maybe you put together the ads, but you just want to maybe have somebody guide you through a couple of the pieces. And then I do management for a few small handful of clients. I always say, you know, like if you're at a point where you're spending a lot of money on ads, management definitely can still make sense. You know, if you want somebody that's really going to be going in there every single day and keeping, you know, their eyes on what you're doing, then I think management's good. But for most people, you know, I think, you know, starting with the digital products or the VIP day is like a good, you know, starting place.
What would you say you should be spending per month that that means management might be a good idea? Like, what would you think that minimum amount is on ad spend?
Usually I would say it's at least $5,000 a month. I'd say really more so upwards of $10,000 a month.
Yeah.
And the main reason for that is just because, you know, if you're spending $5,000 a month on ads, hopefully if you're getting a 2 to 4x return on investment, then, you know, you're making enough to pay back your ad spend, to pay off the management fees, and then still profit at the end of the day, right? And that's the scenario you want to be in. You don't want to be paying somebody to manage your ads, but then in a position where it's like you have to, you know, you're not making enough sales to make it all make sense.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so she obviously talked about the 3 different offers. So, you know, it's she's got very minimal space for managing, but VIP day, and then the digital product is really for someone who just, in my opinion, maybe you just cannot afford the VIP day at this point, so you're going to start there. And then the management would be you're spending a pretty good amount of money and you truly just don't want to do it. Like you're like, I just don't want to do it. I will still say though that the VIP day for the average entrepreneur is going to be your best bang for your buck, even though it's an investment. And please hear me when I say this. I don't take investments lightly. But when you're talking about something, if you've got something in your business that's working, it's already organically working, this will, in my opinion, be the best investment that you make in your business, period. Other than having a star player on your team, right? So I'm always about investing in people, but this is also investing in people. It's investing in you and your people. And so like, I feel like it's worth it. I'm one of those people, I'm like, business debt is usually good debt when it makes sense. And again, if you've got a product or a retreat or something that's already working, but you just really need that visibility boost, this will be by far the best investment. I know that this was the piece I've been missing. Like, I just know it. And I can already tell. Granted, it's only been 24 hours, so please know I will keep you all posted. But I can already tell. I can tell by the process. I can tell by the leads I'm already getting. I can tell by the responses that I'm already getting that this is literally going to take my business to the level where I'm going to have to hire more people. Like, I can already feel it.
Yeah.
And that is what I was missing. And so I really feel like if you have something in your business that's working, this is the part that's next.
Yeah. I mean, most of my VIP clients usually make their return back on the investment of working together within the first 30 to 60 days. So it's really quick, where sometimes, you know what I mean, you might invest into a program and it might take 6 months, a year longer to really see that return come back to your business.
Yeah.
So I think it's so worth it. And it just gets to a point where it's like you can only go so far organically or so fast organically, right? And it's like, you know, you reach a point where it's like you obviously have done very well in your business, but it can only grow so far at a certain rate, where now this is really just going to, you know, set it on fire, and you're going to have the control over how fast you want it to grow. And I think that's a really powerful place to be, when you can actually now, like, we're going to know your numbers at the end of like this next month, where you're like, okay, here's what it cost me to acquire someone to, you know, buy a course or to invest in this program or to book a retreat. And now if you're like, I want to be able to sell 10 more or 20 more or 50 more,
turn it up.
We know what money, like, we know what the budget is to do that. And it's like, you know, what other capacity do we have that ability to do in our business, right? Like, I mean, you can post more, but that doesn't necessarily always translate into more sales, you know? So
it doesn't. I almost feel like, other than your email list, which, by the way, you use your email list in ads typically. I mean, that is still the moneymaker. But other than building the email list organically, this is the moneymaker, is ads. It just is, because listen, I've said this over and over again, but when you're just using social media just as a platform to like post shit, you're hitting less than 1% of your audience. It's gone within 24 hours, and you're constantly having to feed the algorithm, constantly. And if you're wanting it to be any kind of moneymaker, but it really just isn't. It's I call it like a trust tool, if anything. Like, if people find you, they'll look at your social media. That's to me what it is, right?
Yeah.
And so, but they're usually finding you, by the way, on Google or AI or ads. Like, that's how the search works these days.
Yeah.
And so this is the way to invest. And the other thing is, I have, by the way, I did try, I told Jaymie this, I did try one time to use an agency. And although I feel 100% with every fiber of my being that this would not happen if you worked with Jaymie, but this is a real thing that happens when you work with agencies, is that they don't manage your money properly, because, you know, they're charging a fee to manage your account, and then you've got your money going out every day on these ads. And if it's tweaked wrong or it's not managed properly, you could be spending way more than what you originally budgeted for. So I told you my experience. I was working with someone, and I had a budget of $1,000, and they went $1,800 in half the time that they were supposed to spend $1,000. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And it was like crickets in the wind. Like, what do you mean? Like, and I hear that happening. That can happen a lot, right? You get people who say they know what they're doing, or maybe a new startup, or whatever may be the case. They're overextended. It doesn't matter. They don't keep up with the platform. They make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, but this wasn't, by the way. And so having it within your control, I just feel like, is so empowering and fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Well, and just, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, it's like, if something isn't working, it's like you're going to be able to figure out why.
Yeah.
And that's one of the bigger things that I hear too from people that have worked with other agencies, is like, they won't be able, like, they don't tell them. They're just like, sorry, this is your results. You spent this much.
Yep.
This is what you got. And they just kind of leave it at that. And it's like, I think, you know, having the ability to figure out what needs to be tweaked on your own, so that you can go and make those changes, is very powerful.
Well, and you said it originally, you know your business best.
Yeah.
Like, even when you, like, so AI tries to give their own recommendations. And if you have a VIP day, you'll learn this. And sometimes it makes sense as far as the Meta platform. And sometimes it's like, no, it does not make sense for your business. And knowing the difference, and you only learn that through the strategy communication, the strategy part working with you. It's like knowing when to take into consideration the Meta platform, and when to say, no, I've got to stick to my guns, or I'm going to spend money and get leads that are not qualified, that don't match my business, that don't match what you're trying to accomplish. And so it's like, do you want to play a numbers game, or do you want to play a quality game? Well, quality, right? I mean, at the end
All
of the
day.
day,
Yeah.
all day, I want quality leads.
Yeah.
I don't want just a bunch of shit coming into my my email box. And so I think that's really important. I'm going to ask you a question, but it's probably a loaded question or a trick one. I know what everybody's thinking on their mind is how much should I spend every month on ads?
No, I always get that question. And I actually love this question because obviously there is no one exact answer that I can give. What I will say is like it should be very dependent on your goals and your offer, right? So most of the time we don't need to spend as much as we probably think we need to spend. A lot of the times based on the goals that my clients have, they may only need to spend $1,000 or $500 or literally $10 a day
Yeah.
in order to accomplish what they're doing, right? Like but it should be based on what your goals are, right? So if you're in a place where you're like, I just would love to be able to get 100 new people on my email list, you probably don't have to spend a whole lot to do that.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I want to go, I want to make 100 course sales in the next 2 weeks, well, you're going to need a bigger budget to do that. So what I always encourage people to do, and I actually have that tool that I took you through yesterday. It's called my Facebook budget calculator. I have that as like a standalone digital product. It's like $12. But it just helps you sort of reverse engineer your numbers from like, how much do you want to make? What's your sales goal? And then like, what can you sort of expect your conversion rate to be? And I give averages in there. So it makes it really easy for people. And then you can sort of reverse engineer what your budget should be. And that way you're not just putting in money, just sort of guessing or hoping, but we're really going in with some benchmarks of like, okay, this is what we're expecting to hit. So if we're getting close to this, then we know we're on track. We know we're doing good, right? And if we're not, well, then let's look at what pieces we need to change in order to, to make sure that we're getting the result. But yeah, I would say it should be all based off of your goals. For some people, it can be really, really small. And for some people, my client that's making $3 million a year, like we are spending, $200,000 on her ads in order to do that, right?
Yeah.
Which still that return is great, right? But I think a lot of times people think they need to spend a ton of money in order to see results. And it doesn't always take that much.
Yeah, so just to walk y'all through, when we went through my campaigns, it literally was like using that tool. It was great. It was like, okay, this campaign's $10 a day. This one's going to be $60 a day. This one's going to be $10 a day. And it all varied based on the goal. Also the product, I think, too, or the lead magnet. What the pull is that the right thing? The lead magnet, the pull? What it is that you're bringing
I also
them
call
for.
it like your entry offer. It's like,
There it
what's
is.
the thing that people are going to see first from your ad? And then like you have your core offer, which is your more paid offer. But yes, depending on what it is that you're advertising, right, that will also change how much you need to spend.
Yeah, so if you're advertising something that's thousands of dollars right off the bat, you're probably going to be spending more. If you're advertising the free guide that's going to bring them into your list to nurture, that might cost a little less. And so, yeah, I think that I knew it was a trick question because I went through the process, but I know that that's what's on everybody's mind is how much do I have to spend?
Yeah.
The other thing I will warn people is, it is an investment. Like I'm investing and I already know, I've seen it already that I'm going to get quality leads, but that doesn't mean they're going to convert immediately either. And so sometimes, yes, like the mini offer it's going to convert immediately. Like that's a mini offer that will convert immediately. But if you're selling anything over, I don't even know what the amount is, but it's over a mini offer. There's gonna be a sales cycle. Typically, there's got to be a little bit of a trust building there.
Yeah, no, there definitely is. The other thing that I was going to say really quick too regarding the budget was that it also depends whether you're trying to advertise to new people, so cold traffic, or your existing audience, right? And I think for a lot of your audience, people who are hosting retreats especially, I would probably be focusing more of your budget towards advertising, like either growing your audience or running ads to your existing audience, right? Because we know that most people on social media don't see our posts, right? We're lucky if even 10% of people do. So we're always missing out on a portion of our audience. Ads are the way to guarantee we get in front of all those people. And when you're doing that, when you're running ads to people who already know you, it's going to be less expensive, right? Because we're reaching a smaller group of people. But if we're like, okay, I want to go out in front of a bunch of new people, then obviously it's going to cost more. But I did just want to preface that because I think a lot of times we think of using ads only to reach new people. But it's like if you've been spending a lot of time building an audience organically and you're also not running ads to those people when you have an offer or a launch or something, you're also missing out on a really big opportunity because I will have some clients that will spend literally $50, $100 on an ad to their existing audience. And if they even make one sale, right, to like a retreat or to a course, like you could easily make like a 5, 10, 20x like return on investment with that. So it can be really powerful if you already are building an audience and run ads to those people.
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, I think we did a couple of those versions too yesterday. So I feel so empowered. So it's all good. Is there anything that I didn't talk on or touch on that people should know if they're considering ads?
That's a great question.
Or what are the most common mistakes other than just throwing money at the wall?
Well, I think the most common mistake is just skipping right to the ad.
Yeah.
It's just getting right to like what should my messaging be? Like what should I use, a video or an image? Whenever I get a ton of questions about the ad itself, I'm like we're skipping past like the most important piece. So definitely that. And then I think one thing that's really important for people to know, like if you're going to run ads, is like you need to have your messaging really dialed in. And a big part of that is because there's been a huge shift in the ads world the last few years where like targeting used to be the most important thing that mattered for your ads. You have no idea the types of like ninja targeting tricks we used to implement to try and make sure we were getting in front of your exact ideal customer. But now Meta, and we talked about this yesterday, looks more at your copy on your ad, the copy on your landing page, the graphic or the video and who that's speaking to. And they're going to use that information to help put you in front of the right people. So you really need to have good messaging, and you really need to have messaging that both attracts your ideal customer, so makes it really clear this is for me, but then repels the wrong people.
She's talking my language. Yes.
Because every time somebody clicks on your ad, it's training the algorithm. And what we want to do is train it to say, we only want the people who are our best customers clicking, and we don't want the people who are not right for us clicking, because if those people click on the ads, it's actually telling the algorithm like, hey, show your ad to more of those people.
Yeah.
So I always try to like make it clear not only who the ad is for, but who it's not for in certain ways. And I want certain people to be repelled by your ads if they're not going to be a good fit for what you do. And you'd kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday in terms of you're like, well, if someone's going to come to a retreat, like they need to be open to like alcohol being there because we have alcohol at our retreats, right? So it's like, maybe for one of your ads, it's like you picture people at a retreat holding glasses of wine so that we know, like, if you're not open to that, you're just going to keep scrolling, right? So we're continuing to always train it to bring in the right people. So
I love that. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for being on the show. I will have all her information in the show notes, but why don't you just shout out where they can find you, just in case there's that one person who doesn't want to listen or read the show notes.
I'm that person, so I get that. I would say the best place to connect with me is on Instagram. My handle is the ad expert, so the AD expert. My name's not the easiest to spell, so that I had an assistant a few years ago that was like, let's give you an easy handle. So I'd say go connect with me there. And if you have any questions or anything, like definitely send me a DM. I'd love to chat.
Yes. And by the way, yesterday I was trying to tag you in something and I typed the ads expert and it was like, all I could see was sex. I'm like, I see why now you put the ad.
Well, because we did actually get that handle at first, the ads expert. And then I was like, wait a minute, this could definitely come off wrong. We need to remove the S. So it's funny he knows that.
Oh, I did. I was like, wait. Oh, that's not her. And so anyway, thank you so much for being on the show. But thank you even more, truly, from the bottom of my heart, for empowering me and my team to take control of our business in a way that we probably have never had. So thank you.
Of course. I honestly had such a blast doing it, getting to come out to and experience the magic of your ranch, and everything was so great. So thank you for having me, both out here and on the podcast.
Yes, thank you. We'll have to do it again.
Definitely.
Thanks for tuning in to the Retreat Leaders Podcast. If you love this episode, please make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your retreat besties. Want more support? Grab free resources at theretreatleadersplaybook.com. Until next time, lead boldly, serve deeply, and retreat profitably.